Then also, we did 300 warm meals at Halloween time. They helped us out down in Baltimore. So they've been tremendous in their support. Maggiano's right in King of Prussia has been tremendous.
Yes.
Pepsi Bottling Company in Westchester, tremendous with their support. So, and we're building new relationships this year. We're working with Bertucci's and Portobello's in Kennett Square.
Right.
Bertucci's right here in Norristown. So we're building new relationships, and that's key, obviously, to this. Obviously, the meal donation is building those new relationships.
And you had mentioned, I think you, unless I misunderstood you, Tony Aquilante, someone we have had on this show before.
Tony's a good friend of mine.
Catering business?
Catering business. His daughter Denise and I have been working on a few projects, and she's helped us out too with some meal donations, some of her own product, and that'll be going to help supplement and fill out the meals.
How did you plant the flag in New York City, and when?
It was a phone call. And I said, I want to help out in New York. That was one of the states I wanted to get to. So I called up a homeless shelter in New York. Well, it's called the Covenant House. So I guess it's kind of a hybrid. But it helps work with children. And we're going to be serving a meal there. I have a friend, his name's Izzy Bauda, played football with him at Villanova University. And his family, they have a restaurant, Italian restaurant. They agreed to donate food. So we'll pick up the food in New York City from the Bauda family. Very generous family, and then we will take it to the shelter, the Covenant House, and serve it.
Okay, so you've got 3 cities. What are the other cities that you hope to target with next year? What are you working on?
I look at it more in terms of states. I want to have representation in all 50 states, so that's my goal. We're at 14 now.
Nothing in Jersey yet?
Jersey was taken, we took care of Jersey.
You do?
They were part of the food drive we did. We gave them cans. So when I say we've worked with a state, it's either in the donation of a non-perishable food item, like a canned good, or it's in the service of a warm meal. So that's a combination, 14 states. But we've touched down in 14 states.
Is it your intention to limit, not that it's small, but limit the donations, contributions, the services you provide to food and nutrition? Or are there other services you hope to add? And I'm not even sure what those might. Well, for example, helping people find jobs, or helping them prepare to find jobs, or providing or making sure that they're aware of other services, psychological services, healthcare certainly, to at least help them to connect to the support networks that already exist. Is that part of your agenda?
That's a terrific question, and I think the answer is multifaceted, so I have a couple parts to it. One, I actually do help people looking for jobs now currently, and that's more so in the for-profit business in terms of connections and networking. That's something I actively do. In terms of helping to provide other services, I have a lot of goals of partnering with other organizations and feeding off what they do well and feeding off what we do well. Right now, our main goal is helping with food, but food is just a symbol. It's a sustenance for today, but it's really to build a future for tomorrow. So our real goal, as I said before, is creating awareness and inspiring, but we'd love to get into a point where we could be inspiring and educating and rehabilitating individuals that are suffering in these homeless shelters. That's just going to take time, but that'll come with awareness. So the more people know about it and the more there's a unification, of our country. The number one thing is caring about people. Once we get back to that, we can do anything. And that comes with legislation, policies.
Are you leveraging social media to get the message out now?
Believe it or not, I took advantage of Facebook this year. I had never got on it until this year, and a lot of encouragement to get on there, so I went on to Facebook.
Is it working? Spreading the word?
Spreading the word? Yeah, it's new to me. I'm more of a direct eyeball to eyeball, shake your hand, calling on the phone. But I'm getting used to the computer, and it can help. It can't hurt.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it's indispensable. You have to do it these days. I'm still kicking and screaming, but you have to do it, and you're young enough to do it.
Yeah.
You've made a couple of references to your for-profit job. What is that?
So I work with my father in King of Prussia, and we take care of employee benefits. And that runs the gauntlet: health insurance, supplemental insurance, retirement plans, 401ks, 403bs, 457s, and then also individual life insurance. I'm writing for a magazine now called Mainline CEO.
Oh, really?
With Kim Cooley. She's putting that together, and she's doing a great job with that. So I'm writing a few articles for her as well.
I think I've seen that. Is that new, relatively new?
Relatively new. She just set up her first issue, came out and in November, and now we're rolling.
Okay, and it's a Slick magazine?
It's called Mainline CEO.
Yeah, is it slick?
I'm not sure.
It's print. It's not, or is it internet only?
I'm sorry, print. I apologize.
It is print. Okay.
And there's a portion of it's online, but it's print.
Okay. Mainline CEO.
Mainline CEO. So check it out, Kim Cooley.
Yes. Well, and how is she helping you? By providing
Well,
the
she
space,
gives
I
me
guess, to tell
an
the story.
outlet. It's kind of working as mutually beneficial.
Uh-huh.
She lets me write a column, so I'm talking about the financial, world of life insurance products, why it's important to protect families, because that's where my passion lies, and helping people. And then I also write a column on, the Food for Friends, how we're trying to serve, kind of get more volunteers involved, and then also I'm putting one together now with restaurants.
Column?
A column with restaurants.
Restaurants?
So local restaurants, if they want to, on the main line, we're interviewing them too.
Oh, is that right? Well, we recently had the executive chef from Paramore down at the Wayne Hotel.
Oh, perfect.
You should go visit
We
with him.
should get them together, absolutely.
Nice Italian fella. I'm sure he'd be happy to hear from
Hey,
him.
nothing wrong with that Italian.
Yeah.
Look at the last name.
His name is Michael Giampa.
Okay,
Giampa.
cool. Rock and roll.
And they've got a really neat thing going over there. It seems to me, first of all, you're old for your years. You're a wise young man. People like you generally have heroes, people whom they admire, and the lives of people they admire. Who are your heroes?
I have several, but I'd say first and foremost my mom and dad. And the way they raised us as a family to kind of care of others and give back, I owe everything I am to them. And it really gets to the focal point of why I do what I do with the nonprofit. I believe in family values, and I believe in the family being the center. It's not the government or the private sector, it's the family. And when you boil everything down, it comes down to the family. And the way I was brought up, they were my role models. They still are to this day. And they've inspired me, encouraged me, supported me every step of the way.
Who's number 2 and 3?
Well, outside of family, if you're talking about people that have inspired me in general, people that I look to when I've been down, whether it be in football, competing, I've looked towards inspiration in movies from Rocky and Rudy, Seabiscuit, those types of inspirational movies that have kind of given me more belief in myself. Because everyone goes to periods where they doubt what they can do. And there's times when you're plugging along and you're not seeing the results, but you have to keep the faith. Yeah. And that's helped me. Those types of movies have helped inspire me and develop my character.
I understand your earlier point about hoping to be successful enough in your for-profit, your day job, so that you can spend more time and devote some of your time, talent, and energy to this avocation, what is now an avocation. But at some point, it seems to me, again, you're a very young man, it seems to me that you're going to have to make a decision to either get somebody to take over the For-Service initiative, or you're going to devote more of your time to it and do something to accommodate is that somewhere in the near term? This is growing very quickly.
It has, and it's interesting you say that. In 1 year, 25,000 meals is unbelievable, and I just feel honored and blessed that we could have helped people. But to answer your question and to your point, that's always a challenge. In an ideal world, you grow your for-profit business, and that's your sole source of income. You're able to take care of yourself, your family, save for your retirement, and your future. And then you run a nonprofit. I like the idea of nonprofit being not for-profit, that you don't need to take money to run your life. Now, I understand organizations that do, because if you're going to be doing that full-time, you need to pay your bills.
Right.
So there's justification in that. But for me, my vision, and that's where the model of what I'm trying to create is replicatable. So I'm trying to create these chapters, and if these chapters get rolling, yes, I'll still be running things, but they'll be able to sustain themselves to a certain degree, that if I make a phone call, then they know what to do. Yeah. So what I'm doing is I'm laying the groundwork, and I'm putting one brick at a time, building up the castle. And eventually, we can replicate this model, in Denver, and then we can replicate it in California. And
the media, have they been paying attention to you?
We've been very fortunate. You're paying attention to me. Yes. So we've been very fortunate. I think whenever somebody gives you an opportunity to kind of speak and share your mission, it's an honor.
Will you get coverage during the next week or so as you and your volunteers get out and start serving meals?
I certainly hope so. And primarily the reason, as I said before, to create more awareness
Yeah.
of what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
It's really a selfless goal in the sense that we're trying to really grow something that can help people.
Do you have a board of advisors, people who are experienced in business as well as nonprofit?
Being a nonprofit now, we have to have a board, so we have several members, an accountant, and an individual who helps handle logistics. So we're going to be growing that board this year. We have a couple pretty large-sized goals. You know, we would like to put together some pretty big food drives this year and spread the message. We want to get into more states, and hopefully someday, you know, if we create enough awareness, then the private sector too can devote more of their resources as well.
Well, as you know, there is such a thing as social entrepreneurialism, to make money so that you can do good by doing good.
I like that.
And it sounds you are a social entrepreneur. I'm not sure you knew that, but you are a social entrepreneur in today's parlance, and there's more and more interest in social entrepreneurialism, particularly on the part of young people who want to make money, but they want some purpose as well, something that makes them feel good about what they're doing and the contribution they're making, and making money along the way. I would think, therefore, if you haven't already looked into it, there should be some grant money available as well as some other large organizations who have foundations and so on, who should be interested in what you're doing and supporting what you're doing. Now again, particularly these days, they are solicited by everybody, which brings me to another point. Given the observation comment I made before about the proliferation of these kinds of programs, how do you differentiate? How do you separate yourself from all of the others? They're all doing good work.
Right.
But how do you separate yourself from the others so that you are more worthy of financial support, at least in the eyes of the targets that you have in mind, the corporations, the restaurants, the other individuals who might write a check?
You know, that's interesting. I think I do what I've always done, and I trust, as I said before, this is not associated or affiliated with any religion, but I have faith in the Lord, and I'll turn to my faith for strength and for direction. And I have no doubt in my mind that we'll continue to grow. It's in my heart. And if you can, I always say the number one key, and I think that a lot of people would be able to kind of go even further in their careers or their personal lives, is having an imagination. You know, as children, we grow up and we dream of playing professional sports or being this or being that. And then something happens. We get older and people tell us that, well, you can't do that. And we let people stick a finger in our face and say, we can't do this, we can't do that. And the fact of the matter is, why not? That's really what it comes down to. Why not? You know, and I won't let anyone say that I can't do something. You know, you have to have that belief. And I mean, that's why down the road, people will believe in what we're doing. I think that honesty, truth, integrity shows. That's why it's one of our key principles, integrity. Service, integrity, hope.
Derek, those two rings you're wearing are symbols of your own, your belief that you could do whatever you set your mind to do. What are those two rings?
So these are...
First of all, they're monstrous.
These are symbols of something extremely great. They're symbols of a brotherhood. This was my ring from Villanova University.